Hey friends, this is Karen from Blue Rooster Farm, and today we're back in the kitchen and we are going to be making a pasta salad. And this pasta salad is going to be perfect for those hot days. In fact, it doesn't have to be a side to your meal. It can be your full meal. So come back with me and I'll show you how it's done. Hey everyone, welcome back. I hope everyone's doing well wherever you are. Today here where I live, we're still having a little bit of rain. Um, we need the rain. The farmers have, I think, mostly gotten the corn, and some people are working on their beans right now, getting those planted. Um, but it is dry even after the rain. It is dry. In fact, yesterday I had a chance to mow the yard again, and even though we had an inch or so of rain just a couple days ago, it was still really dusty in some places. So we can use the rain. So we appreciate that. I hope wherever you are at, you are having good weather and able to enjoy getting outside. Well, like I said earlier, we are going to be making a pasta salad today. And this pasta salad is going to be our dinner. So I thought, well, while I'm making it, I'll bring you along. And one thing nice about pasta salads is you can make them however you want and add just the ingredients that you like. You don't have to stick to the certain recipe. It's just kind of a plan, and you can add or take away ingredients that you like or don't like. So here's how I make ours. And again, it changes each time we make it depending on what I have on hand. So what I did earlier to save a little time was I got my rotini and I boiled it, and I didn't overcook it. You don't want to overcook it. And then as soon as it was al dente, I put it in the sink, ran cold water over it, strained it, and so it's cold now. Then I went ahead and chopped up the vegetables and things that I needed to make this video go a little smoother. And so we're just going to get started right in. The first thing we're going to add, I'm going to go ahead and start with some of the vegetables, and then we're going to add the pasta into that. So the first thing I'm going to add is some onions. Now we like our onions sliced thin, kind of like this. You can chop them up. You can use red onions, green onions, yellow onions. You can use shallots, whatever you like, whatever you have. We have sweet onions, so I'm using these sweet onions. I'm going to pour those in there. Then I checked my refrigerator, and in my refrigerator I had cauliflower, broccoli, celery, and carrots. So I just chopped those up into bite-sized pieces, and I put them in a bowl, and you can use whatever quantity you want. You can leave any of those out or all of them out. It's up to you. I like to try to add as many vegetables as I can to try to make it as healthy as possible. And one thing I want to share with you, if you go into your refrigerator and maybe your broccoli is a little not wilted, or I mean not really soft, but soft where it's not quite as crispy as you'd like it, since this is a fresh salad, you want your vegetables to be crispy. Just because it's a little bit soft right now doesn't mean you can't use it. What you do is go ahead and cut it up to your sizes, put it in a big bowl of ice water, let them set while you get everything ready, and then when you're ready to add them, they should be nice and crispy. That water in the cold water will crispen them up, especially things like celery. Carrots are usually crispy. Broccoli and celery are probably my main ones that get a little bit, not quite as snappy as usual. So add them to cold water, ice water, let them set, and then you're good. All right, so I've got the onions and stuff in here. The next thing I'm going to add is some red peppers, and you can add red, green, whatever you want. A sweet bell pepper is good. These are some that I had frozen and in my garden. I'm trying to think of the name. Is it Marconi? They're the really big Italian, like they look like almost a bell pepper, only they're really long and they're really good and they're really sweet. What I do is we plant those, and they usually don't get ripe until very end of our gardening season. And at that point, if they're not quite red when we're getting our frost, if they're just a little bit starting, I can set them out and they'll turn red. But what I do is I cut them in strips and I put them in Ziploc baggies, and then I use them for stir fries and fajitas and things like that in the wintertime. And so what I did was I just took a package out. You don't even have to thaw them out. They cut really nicely, chopped them up. In this salad, it's okay to have soft peppers because they're going to marinate with the dressing that we're going to be adding to it, the Italian dressing. So it's okay if they're a little soft because frozen does soften your peppers, and they'll taste just fine. Okay, so we're going to add those, and any kind of pepper you like is fine. The next thing I'm going to add, we like olives, black olives, so I'm going to add some black olives. I think I'm going to chop them up a little bit though. I think these are full size. Let me drain this. So I drained the olives, and these are just large black olives. You can use any kind of olives, green, black, Italian, flavored, whatever you like. I'm just going to add probably about half of this can. I'll do small batches, and I'm just going to kind of cut them maybe 2 or 3 times each, just to make them a little bit smaller. You can definitely leave them whole, but I like to kind of have them a little bit smaller. We sometimes use the chopped olives. They're really finely chopped and they're fine. They're not the prettiest in there, but they are good. And of course, sliced olives are perfect. So I'm going to add just a few more. Maybe if I just took the lid off. Well, it's easier said than done. That one's a secure lid. So that's about half. And we could definitely put the whole can in, but we'll save them for another dish. We'll probably eat some Italian, or not Italian, some Mexican this week. And those are good with tacos or burritos. Okay, so I just rough chopped them and add them to our dish. So right now we've got a nice colorful dish going on. This is really a pretty salad. The other thing I'm going to do to make this heartier, since it's going to be our full meal, is I'm going to add some beans, and these are navy beans that I canned. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to open them up and rinse them. That way it won't have all the bean juice on them. All right, they rinsed off very nicely. Going to add those to our... You can add kidney beans, black beans, pinto beans. Any bean that you like would be fine. Okay, so I'm just going to give this a little mix. See what we have here. It's looking really pretty. Okay, so far we have veggies and a little bit of protein. We're going to add a little more protein, and I'm adding to this some bite-sized dry salami. You can add pepperoni, you can add ham, We also like to add chicken breast chunks. And sometimes I add both the salami or the pepperoni and the chicken breast chunks. You can add bacon, whatever your family likes. If you want to make it vegetarian, you don't have to add any meat at all. But since this is going to be our main meal, we're going to put some meat in it. And let's see what this package looks like. These are pretty small pieces. Okay. So I think I can just put them in without cutting them. If I'm using regular pepperoni, a lot of times I'll cut it into fourths, but these look like they're small enough. And you know, I think I'm just going to add the whole thing because I don't have any other thing I'm going to be using this for anytime soon. I could freeze it, but it'll be delicious in here. And my husband takes his lunch to work every day, and I know he really likes this recipe, so this will be something that he can take in his lunch. And if we eat it as a regular entree today, then maybe tomorrow we'll have it as a side with whatever we eat, or we could have it again as a full meal. Okay, so got that mixed up, looking very pretty. Again, if you have any other vegetables that you like, feel free to put them in. Now, the next thing I'm going to put in is our rotini. And it's all drained, and it's been sitting in this bowl for probably about 30 minutes, so it's absorbed all the moisture, which is good, because we don't want it to be wet. We want it to be a little dry so that it will absorb that dressing that we're going to be adding. Okay, so did you notice the big bowl that I used? I knew I was going to be making a big batch. I think I'll be sharing this with some friends. Normally when I make this, I know my boys are going to be home for the weekend or something because they like this as well. And in fact, I think my husband may be going to the town where my one son lives sometime this week to pick up some things. He's been sick. My son's been sick, so maybe we'll send him some of this because I think he'd really appreciate that. The next thing we're going to add is, I like cheese in mine. Now, you can add cubes of cheese. The little mozzarella balls are really good, the fresh mozzarella. You can use Parmesan, the grated Parmesan. I have the shredded Parmesan, which is really good. So I'm going to add probably half of this container. This is a 5-ounce container, and it's a large handful. Okay. Now, this is pretty salty, so right now I haven't added any salt to this because once our dressing and our cheeses are in there, then we can taste it and decide if it needs salt. Right now, we don't have any salt in here yet, but this cheese will add some of that salt. Okay, the other one that I really like is feta. Feta is very good in salads. And I have a container that is 4 ounces, and I'm going to use the whole thing. Sometimes you can find Italian feta that's seasoned already. That would be fine to add as well. Sometimes it comes in a little block that you need to crumble. That's good as well. This is pre-crumbled. And if you've never had feta cheese, it looks a lot like blue cheese, but it doesn't have the blue. And it doesn't have that sour taste that, or that very aged taste that blue cheese has. It's a little more mild. Let me taste it and I'll tell you more. It's a real salty cheese, but it's kind of like the curds of cottage cheese, but they're dry. But it probably reminds me a little bit between Parmesan. If you mix Parmesan and mozzarella together, it's milder than Parmesan, but it's softer than Parmesan, more like mozzarella. But it does have a lot of salt, so I think this will add the salt to our pasta. So I don't see us adding any salt, but we'll see. All right, we're going to stir this in. All right, the next thing we're going to add is an Italian dressing. Now, it is totally up to you what dressing you use. But I have just put up a video. It's actually a short, and it's on how to make balsamic vinaigrette or dressing. So if you want to see how to make the homemade, because you don't have any on hand, go to that little short. In 1 minute, you'll see the whole thing being made. This we find is really good. This has balsamic vinegar in it, but you can make the dressing that I made for this with red wine vinegar, white wine vinegar. You can use apple cider vinegar. You can use regular white vinegar, really. It's just going to have a little different texture and taste. But this is a good one. So I'm going to give it a good shake. And then the quantity that you're using all depends on how much you have in your bowl and how zesty you like it. And I'm probably going to be adding this whole jar. And in fact, I'm probably going to add a little vinegar to that and rinse it out and shake it up and then pour it in there just to get the very last bits. So I'll probably do that. Actually, I'll let this set, and then before we eat it, I'll probably drizzle it with a little bit of that. Okay. But if you don't make your own Italian dressing, zesty Italian, if you like a creamy Italian, that would be good. It's really up to you. It will just change the taste of your pasta salad to what you like. Okay, so I'm getting all this stirred in. Okay. And I'm going to give it a taste. I'll taste a noodle. Yeah, I can taste the dressing really well, and it doesn't need salt. I do want to add some pepper. I'm going to add some fresh pepper. We like fresh pepper. If you don't like pepper, you don't have to add it. So I add quite a bit. Now I'm mixing it in this bowl, but what I think I'm going to do is I have another enamelware bowl that has a lid on it. So I think I'm going to put it in there so it will store in the refrigerator. If there's too much of it to go into that bowl, I'll put it in a smaller bowl. That way I can share the smaller bowl with some friends. All right, this is going to go in the freezer to marinate. It's usually even better the second day. It can stay in your refrigerator for, we've eaten on it for a week and it's still good. But I guess it all depends on what ingredients you have in there. But it's a versatile salad. It's a delicious salad. Great to take on potlucks. Those days when you're out in the garden and you come in and you don't want to cook, great thing to have in the refrigerator, and you just get you a nice bowl of it and enjoy. Doesn't heat up the kitchen. Well, I hope you enjoyed this recipe. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment box. I will share the link of my 1 minute short on making the dressing. In fact, I'll probably put a card up somewhere. I hope you have a great day. Enjoy the spring, and I'll see you back here soon. Bye-bye.